Okay, Mark Kirby again. Quick little video on how to protect your spreadsheet, how to protect the formulas that you put all this time and effort into building, so that someone else can't go and go in and just type over a cell and wipe out a formula and render your great tool that you built virtually useless. The bad part about that is then they come running down the hall and they look at you and they go, well, it doesn't work. How come? Well, that's because they broke it, but they'll never admit that. So I've laid out a little example here, basics information. Keep it simple, that way we can focus on what we really want to know here, which is protecting our cells. So I've laid out a little guide here. I built an input area, this little input area right in through here. And all I want is some simple stuff: date, sales, cost of goods sold, operating expenses. I've plugged in some numbers. I come down and I create a report area, and I've got a little tiny, very simple income statement: sales, cost of goods sold, gross profit, operating expenses, and net income. So I've got the who, what, and when, name of the company for the month ended. Okay. Notice it even pulls the correct date. It's pulling sales from up above. If I hit the formula, it shows you. If you look at cost of goods sold, it shows you that it's pulling from up above. Operating expenses pulls from up above. Okay, very simple, very clean. Even the date pulls from up above, and all I did was right click on it and go to format, change the format so that it is spelled out in words, and in this cell next to it I hit the right hand justify so that these two lined up next to each other, and it looks pretty good. Quick, simple, dirty, but it works and it looks pretty good. Real quick, I'm going to create some percentages here. I'm going to do a little vertical analysis, lock my cell references to sales, and I can copy that down. Okay, and that's what the number should be. Makes sense. So if I change the date up here to 2/28/13, well, I have to make this a little wider, but my column still works. Let's make it a little wider just in case, and I'm going to left hand justify that just to make sure it stays over there. Okay. What if I change it to something like 12/31/13? Okay, it still fits. What if my sales change to 90,000? And then I have no net income. Look, changed. Okay, so if my cost of goods sold changes, or my operating expenses change, notice all of these automatically update. So it fits all of the rules that we've laid out. We've got an input area, we've got an output area, it automatically updates. I've even put a little note up here that says, hey, only enter data in the areas that are in the cells that are shaded blue, which is great. But you're always going to get some guy who comes down here and goes, oh look, let's change this. And then if I go up here and update it to, nothing happens. It's all blown up now. So how do we save ourselves from this? I'm just going to go fix it so that it will update automatically. There. Okay, so how do we save ourselves from this guy? The guy that doesn't pay attention, doesn't listen to instructions even though they're right here in front of him. We can use something called cell protection. And there's a couple of steps in this. If I take any cell on the spreadsheet or block of cells and you hit right click, or you go up to the formatting tab, okay, pull up the old style formatting, and you go to this tab over here called protection. By default, every cell on the entire spreadsheet is marked as locked. Okay, that means nothing until we turn the protection on. So there's two steps. all the cells are locked. If we turn protection on, you couldn't do anything to this spreadsheet. So we have to go find the cells that we want to allow people to change. And I'm going to hold down the control key and select these 4 cells. I'm going to come up and pull down my format cell box, go to protection, and unlock those cells. So that way when I turn protection on the entire worksheet, these 4 cells can be changed, but none of the others can. Okay? So I'm going to hit OK. Now notice people can still change all the other cells. Okay? Because I haven't done the second step yet. So the second step in this to turn on the protection is a Review tab item. Come up here to the tabs, hit Review, go over to Protect Sheet. The minute I hit Protect Sheet, this little drop box pulls down and it has all of these different options, all these things you can do. Allow users of this worksheet to do, and right now by default select the blocked cell, select the locked cell is turned on, select unlocked cells. That means they can navigate around the spreadsheet, you know, down arrow, up arrow, they can click on a cell. They can't, notice format is turned off. You can't format, you can't change the columns, the rows, insert columns, rows, delete columns, delete rows. You can't sort, filter, edit, any of that. Okay? So I'm only going to allow users to click on a cell, but they can't do anything else to it. If I really want to be crazy, I can turn this off and they can only select those 4 cells out of the whole worksheet. I typically don't do that one. It tends to get users confused. Why can't I click on a cell in this spreadsheet? The whole thing's not working. It must be garbage. So I tend not to use it. By default, protect the worksheet and components or contents of locked cells is what we're up to. Password. They give you an option for a password because anybody who knows 2 cents about Excel knows to come over to the Review tab and turn the protection off. But if you put a password in here, they can't turn it off. So if you truly want to protect yourself, you're going to have a password. The downside is, if you forget your password, you are very much stuck. So, you know, it comes with a double-edged sword there. Be careful with it. The other thing is, for this class, we're not going to use a password in the protection, because when you submit your file to me, I want you to show me that they're protected. But if you protect it with a password, I can't unprotect it to go in and see what your formulas are in your cell, so I can't really give you a grade. So if you leave this with no password in here for this class, when you submit your homework, I can go straight to Unprotect Sheet, and then I can go through it and give you a grade. Okay, so I'm going to accept the defaults here, put in no password, click OK. Notice my little icon for Protect Sheet just turned into Unprotect Sheet. So there's your clue that protection is on. I can click around the spreadsheet, but if I come down here to Sales, which should be a locked cell, and I try and type something in, it pops up and says, hey, the cell that you're messing with is protected and read only. You can't do that. And here's the thing that kills you. To modify a protected cell or chart, first remove protection using the Unprotect Sheet command. Review tab changes. So this is where, you know, if you're sending this out to people in the company you work with, this tells them where to go, Review tab, Unprotect, to undo your protection. I'm going to go ahead and do that, pretend I'm a dummy, and notice it just let me do it. If I had put a password in there though, let's go put a password in. I'm just going to put in the letter A. Double check my password. Okay, now that some dummy goes in here and tries to enter something, oh look, go to the Review tab, Unprotect, it says, what's the password? So you've saved yourself But remember, for this class, you're not going to do it. But out in the real world, you need to know. So I'm going to reprotect it with no password. So you can arrow around, even a blank cell. I can't enter anything in a blank cell. But these 4 cells, I can do anything I want. And it updates my output area for me. And has this all set up. I'm ready to go. And I've saved myself from somebody just coming down here and typing into one of my cells and blowing up my whole spreadsheet so that my awesome tool is broken, ruined, or I have to spend time fixing it for somebody. Okay, that's how protection works in Excel. And in this case, I protected the whole sheet. I've seen people protect the whole workbook so that you can't change anything in the workbook. I don't use that one much myself, but it is an option. You can do that. Okay, if you have any questions, bring them to class. Look forward to talking to you about it there. Hope you like my videos, and I'll talk to you soon.